What's going on, guys? Chandler here. So this is going to be my new segment on my YouTube channel called First Listen Review that is taken from my $5 tier full album reactions. So I react to the entire album, and then at the very end I give my overall thoughts and initial thoughts and a score on the album as a whole. So again, if you do like what you see and want to support the channel going forward, head over to patreon.com/ChandlerBurtonEntertainment. This is exclusive to the $5 tier. Again, you get a full album reaction, review, and a whole bunch of other perks as well if you guys are interested. And again, there's always a link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the review, and thank you all so much for watching.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Alright, my friends, so again, Disturbed and their new album called Divisive. Really excited to check it out here. The first song is Hey You, which I did do a reaction on my YouTube channel that is under Chandler Burton Entertainment. If you want to search that up here and check it out, because this part's going to go on YouTube. So that my reaction to this song is on YouTube here, but I am really excited to check this out, man. Like, I really enjoy Disturbed. Definitely an influential band for me here when it comes to heavier types of music. Them, Slipknot, Pantera, like those really got me into, like, my metalcore type roots, I guess you could say. So huge amount of respect for these guys here. I think they're just absolutely awesome. So let's go ahead and pop it off here. Again, Disturbed and their album Divisive. Let's do it to it in 3, 2, and 1.
A few moments later.
I feel like part of me, the 9th song, could have been the closer. Like the way that song was, man. I mean, that was just fantastic. Dude, the biggest thing I'll say about this album, and then we'll jump into the review, is that I'm so happy that these singles were not the best songs on the album. Now, I was, again, a little concerned because, again, I know when you want to put out singles that, you want to push the album, show different parts of your album, and those are usually the best songs from the album. But I'm really happy to say that my top 3 songs are not singles that were from the album. So I'm really excited to talk about Disturbed Divisive. So again, my first listen review is coming up next, so stick around for that. Let's go, man. Disturbed and their album Divisive. Again, we just got done jamming the entire thing. I am so happy that I like this, because it's like one of those things where it's like listening to this and to like Nickelback, it really, I didn't want to listen to it because of nostalgic reasons. Like, I really want the album to be good, as if I was coming in as like a brand new fan of this band. And there are some people that are going to be new fans to Disturbed. They've been around for like 22, 23 plus years, but again, you're always going to find people that are discovering Disturbed for the first time. So I try to put myself in those people's shoes going like, would I really like this album if I was just a rock fan or a metal fan? And the answer is absolutely. There is something here for everybody to love. Whether you like softer rock music like ballads, if you like heavier songs, if you like kind of like in the middle, there is something for everybody on this album. I'm going to talk about the things that I really enjoyed about this album here, and then we'll jump to the rest here as well. I would say, number 1, the riffs on this album are pure gold, dynamite, fantastic, just explosive, just absolutely incredible. Every song on this album was so good, and I do have some cons with the album overall, but every song of this album was really good. The last song, Won't Back Down, it felt like kind of a throwaway song for me here. I could take or leave that one, but everything else I was very impressed with, especially again with like the guitar riffs, the breakdown kind of moments, not really like breakdowns, but cool guitar moments, and like the guitar solos on this album were really, really good. They were really engaging, really catchy. Like, it's nice when I don't always have to say the vocals carry the song. It's like the instruments can carry the song here as well. And speaking of the vocals, I feel like David's performance on this is just the best that it's ever been. On the last album, Evolution, I mean, he always sounds good. Like, again, he's been doing this forever. He's trained his voice to the point where he's just a very talented musician. But I really feel like this is one of his best vocal performances to date. Like every song that he sings on, you can tell that his voice is not only just the voice of kind of the band, but it's also an instrument. Like, you know, when people sing in bands, you're like, oh yeah, their voice can just carry the song. You know what I mean? Like they'll play the music and then their voice will carry it, and they kind of put the song together, and there you go. What I love about David's voice is that you can tell that his voice is an instrument, and the voice is an instrument. You know, you got to take care of it, just like with any instrument. You got to tune it, you got to take care of it, and you can tell that David is just well primed in what he is doing. Like every song that he sings on, he can go really low, get that really high pitch, you know, singing voice up there, like that head voice. He can also just have that really raspy singing voice. Like there's so much that he can do with his voice, and I love that he can use his voice as an instrument. One of the best vocal performances I think he's done. Absolutely, I think he did a fantastic job. I don't even know how old he is, and he's still killing it, man. I'm like, dude, this is terrific. He did a great job. And then I would say what I really like about this album here as well, that this is a really well-paced album. It's about 38 minutes long. None of the songs drag. Like, I feel like they did a good job putting the songs in like a certain way on the album to just make me feel more engaged. Because again, you know how I am. It may just be a personal preference, but I hate longer songs unless it holds my attention. And the longest song on this album was like 4.5 minutes, which I can definitely tolerate. So I thought they did a really good job of just pacing out the album. Again, it just felt perfect. It was like a breeze to listen to, and it felt like a breath of just fresh air. It was just absolutely incredible. This album is really, really, really good, but I do have some cons with the album here. And again, it's kind of like what I said with my Nickelback review the other day. Disturbed is such a well-known band, a very well-developed band, that anything that I say is not really going to make a difference in the long run. I feel like when I talk about, like, you know, like metalcore bands or like, you know, smaller rock bands, like I feel like sometimes they actually do listen. They say, thank you for the advice, we appreciate it, and we will try to like incorporate that into our next, you know, music. This band, they're not probably ever going to see this. They're not going to be like, oh man, we got to listen to what Chandler Burton says, because if we don't, our next album's going to suck. No, that's not the case. This is just me saying what I've noticed here. And I would say number one is that, and this is with like almost every Disturbed album, just like with Nickelback, every song on this album is extremely predictable. While they are good and they are catchy, you just know the structure of a Disturbed song. It's gonna catch you with a super sick riff. It's gonna go into the chorus. It's gonna do the second verse. Chorus is either gonna be a really cool guitar moment, kind of like an Unstoppable, or it's gonna have like a really cool guitar solo. It's gonna have one of those things that's gonna go back to the chorus and the song is going to end. Like every song sounds the same, and I don't mean that as a bad thing. It's just I know some people may point that out. So I'm like, this band they just sound the same, but they sound really cool. And like for me, it's like as long as it holds my attention, it's sounding the same isn't gonna make a big deal. Like the riffs and everything sound the same, but the structure of the song, all of it is very similar. The only one that threw me off guard was Don't Tell Me, because I thought it was just going to be a softer ballad, but then it kicks in at the very end. That one actually caught me off guard. So it's cool to have one song kind of like surprised me a little bit here when it comes to the structure of the song. I would also say some songs on this album definitely sound very similar to one another, very carbon copy. Like for example, Hey You and Take Back Your Life, I thought sounded really similar to one another. Like when it comes to like the same, like when I say the structure's different, not only does the structure sound the same, but it feels like the songs sound very similar as well. That one, Unstoppable and Part of Me, kind of had a little bit of similar vibes at some parts here. I love both those songs. They're on my top 3 songs, but again, some songs kind of sound a little bit similar, but again, overall it sounded cool, and I think that's what's most important in regards to this album, that it sounded cool and it was good. It was good, you guys. So my top 3 favorite songs from this album here. Number 1, Part of Me. Dude, that Down of the Sickness callback, that was absolutely a callback to that song. That was so cool. Again, I generally don't try to rewind songs. I like to just play it through as I'm talking, and then I save all my talking for the first listen review. Dude, I had to rewind that, listen to it again. That totally caught me off guard. That is another song I should have mentioned here. Like, that song took me by surprise with that part, and it stayed heavy through the entire song. So I guess Don't Tell Me and Part of Me really did surprise me. I thought it was really, really cool. I really like Feeding the Fire. I thought the riff on that one was really good. Again, that's just another, you know, typical like Disturbed type song where it's like again the first verse, chorus, second verse, you know, guitar, cool part, and then it ends. But it was done really well, and I love David singing on the chorus again. What he can do with his low voice going to his high voice, just absolutely phenomenal. And then I really like Bad Man. I thought that song was really cool visualizer as well. Again, David showing off his voice, and the guitar work was really cool. The way he was kind of spitting a little bit like a SoundCloud rapper. I'm like, dude, this is actually really sick. Those are the top 3 songs that I really liked from this album. But again, overall, man, the majority of these songs I really enjoyed on this album, man. I really like this album. All in all, man, again, I keep saying that this album was great. I thought this was a huge step up from their last album, Evolution. There's a few songs in that album I did like, but overall, man, I thought this was a great return to form for Disturbed. This album really reminded me of 10,000 Fists. Like, it just felt like that type of album. It really felt like an old school Disturbed album. I think it's some of their best work to date. Like, if I didn't know any better, I would think this is one of their older albums because it really does feel like that. And I thought they did a really good job of pacing out the album, giving those really cool callbacks. Again, the cool riffs, everything that you love about Disturbed is going to be in this album. For some people, that may be a little bit of a disappointment because they want something new. But again, Disturbed has a huge following. They are probably very rich. So again, they don't need to. They don't need to worry about that, you know. And I think this band, like, it's cool to see like this band coming back here. You know, I just love what they did with this album. I thought they did a really good job of like making it feel fairly fresh in some ways, but also just giving a callback to what fans really like about this band. I'm going to give Disturbed Divisive an 8 out of 10. Very solid album. I think this definitely could make an honorable mention on my albums of the year list here. I really liked it here. Again, that video is coming up soon, so again, keep an eye out for that. But again, overall, really happy I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. They did a really good job with this album.